of his passes. That is the third worst in any of his 285 career starts. His QBR of 23.6 was the second lowest in the league yesterday. The third down was the biggest issue for Brees. He was held to 1 of 10 with an interception on third down. That's the worst completed percentage since joining the Saints. He had been completing an NFL best 76% of his passes on third down entering the day. You got to, of course, wonder about the impact of that rib injury. His first 6 passes were all incomplete, the worst start he has had in his career. Here he was speaking last night after the game as well as today.
Are you 100%?
No, but I'm on my way. I feel pretty good, all things considered. You know, obviously day after a game, soreness, kind of the normal stuff. A lot of yesterday was just kind of getting the feel back, you know, for me, honestly, especially to start that game. So, you know, there were times where we got rolling. There were times where we made some big plays and did some good things, but just not quite enough.
And now for more on Brees and the Saints, we bring in Marcus Spears. Now, the Saints find themselves just 1 game back of the Packers for the 1 seed in the NFC. And we heard Brees say he's still not feeling 100%. So how should the Saints now feel following that 3-point loss to the Chiefs?
Yeah, Ash, I look at this as glass half full instead of empty, because if you think about it, like if I told you Drew Brees was going to come off of a 4-week hiatus after broken ribs, fractured ribs, and a punctured lung, and you would put Michael Thomas on IR, and you would lose Cam Jordan during the game, who wouldn't be there for trying to get critical stops at the end of the game to get Drew Brees and this offense the ball back, and we would lose by 3 to the Kansas City Chiefs, I walk away saying we have a pretty good chance at full strength when everybody shows up. So now the Saints' job is to continue to have Drew Brees grow and be healthier and get this offense functioning the way that he wants it, get Michael Thomas back, have Cam Jordan for a full 4 quarters, and see if we can meet the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl. I know that game to me was played pretty evenly. Like a lot of games the Chiefs play in, we say, well, don't look at the score because it doesn't indicate what the game could have been or what it was like being dominated, just not on the scoreboard. In this particular one, though, if a healthy Drew Brees is back with a healthy Michael Thomas and this defense currently constructed the way it is that got a lot of pressure on Patrick Mahomes with just 4, the Saints will feel good about what they can do going forward.
All right. One of the things I love about you, Marcus, you're always keeping it positive, my friend, and that's exactly what we need in this holiday spirit times. The Saints have 2 final games, 1 at home against the Vikings, and then, of course, 1 at Carolina. Marcus Spears, thank you so much.
No doubt, Ash. Thank you.
Tony La Russa's hiring to be the Chicago White Sox manager in October certainly turned heads. He hadn't managed a team since 2011. But perhaps more surprising that he had been charged in October with misdemeanor drunk driving stemming from a February arrest in the Phoenix area. News known only by him and the team until after he was hired. Today, La Russa resolved those charges, pleading guilty to a lesser charge. Here's Michelle Steele with the story.
Before Tony La Russa can be responsible for the White Sox, he's being held accountable to local authorities in Maricopa County, Arizona.
Is Mr. La Russa also on the line?
Yes, he is. He's present with me, Your Honor.
Counsel, could I just please have your client state his date of birth for the record?
October 4, 1944.
10 months after he was arrested with a blood alcohol count over the legal limit when he told the arresting officer he was, quote, a Hall of Famer baseball person, the White Sox manager appeared via telephone in a Chandler, Arizona courtroom to plead guilty to a reduced charge of reckless driving.
You will be found guilty of violation of count 1, reckless driving, a class 2 misdemeanor. As for the fine amount, a fine amount of $1,383 will be imposed. You shall serve 1 day in jail. I will commute that to in-home detention. You shall also complete 20 hours of community service. Mr. La Russa, do you have any questions?
No, I don't, Your Honor. Thank you.
This is the second DUI arrest for La Russa. The first occurred in 2007 when he was managing the Cardinals. In his first comments addressing this latest DUI incident, La Russa said the onus is on him to prove the White Sox made the right decision with his hire.
I know I don't have a drinking problem, just like I know I made a serious mistake in February. Where I am right now is to prove that I don't have the drinking problem and to prove it every day off the field. And what's painfully clear to me is if I have a drink, I will not drive. There's always an alternative.
I've been told the team is talking to La Russa about how best to support him, including potentially providing transportation options. Now, the team is standing by him, but after the 2007 DUI arrest and this latest incident, they say that, quote, there cannot be a third strike. In Chicago, I'm Michelle Steele, ESPN.
Although it was not required, La Russa also said he has completed an alcohol counseling program in Scottsdale, Arizona, with his lawyer adding that the decision demonstrates La Russa is taking this matter seriously and that he is showing remorse for his actions.
Coming up on SportsCenter, the quarterback fallout from NFL Week 15 featuring the Eagles' mindset for Jalen Hurts versus Carson Wentz and Bill Belichick's plan for Cam Newton moving forward. The Mort Report is next. Plus, with the college football playoff all set, here Clemson's Dabo Swinney throwing some shade at Ohio State ahead of that New Year's Day matchup. It's coming up.
4 hours until the NBA season tips off. Stand by for KD's keys in his Nets debut, LeBron and the Lakers' first act as reigning champs, and new questions about Kawhi's future with the Clippers. Plus, new details tonight on James Harden's trade market. Tracking the Rocket Stars' heat check on the team still in the mix to make a deal. Also, Sunday's NFL QB fallout. Inside the Eagles' new mindset for Jalen Hurts versus Carson Wentz, and the Saints' key concerns after Drew Brees struggled. And with the college football playoff now set, here Clemson's Dabo Swinney throws shade at Ohio State ahead of their New Year's Day matchup. This is SportsCenter.
Do you feel any better about this situation now than you did before you arrived?
Next question.
Here's Ashley Brewer and Ryan Smith.
Next question, like that. Well, let's talk about this. Bowl season is underway. Monday Night Football is tonight. The NBA season starts tomorrow. Perfect gifts for the holidays, Ashley.
The gifts that just keep on giving, Ryan, unless you're the Steelers. Of course, they're looking to bounce back after they've had a couple of straight losses. They have to do it without their starting running back. That brings us to today's headlines. The struggling Steelers will be without their leading rusher, James Conner, against the Bengals tonight due to a quad injury. Benny Snell will get the start as Pittsburgh looks to shake a 2-game losing streak. Clyde Edwards-Helaire suffered a high ankle sprain and a strained hip in the Chiefs' win over the Saints, a source told ESPN's Adam Schefter. Le'Veon Bell will have an increased role the next 2 weeks, and the 13-1 Chiefs hope their first-round pick can return in the postseason. John Calipari asked Cameron Fletcher to, quote, step away from the team after the freshman was visibly upset in Saturday's loss to North Carolina. Though Fletcher did apologize, Calipari said he must preserve a culture that, quote, will not change despite the Wildcats' 1-5 start. Coach Penny Hardaway has agreed to a 5-year contract extension with Memphis, a deal worth $12.25 million over 5 years. Hardaway, who played for the Tigers, has his team off to a 5-3 start. And the Heat have moved on from James Harden trade talk, sources told ESPN. Houston is looking for draft assets, and the Heat can only offer a 2027 first-rounder.
And by the way, speaking of the NBA, we're just a little over 24 hours before the start of the NBA season, and it starts with KD and Kyrie playing for the first time together as members of the Nets, facing off in Brooklyn against a team Durant helped win 2 NBA titles, Steph Curry and the Warriors. So you think this Nets debut against his former team has some special meaning for Durant? Here's KD and Steph Curry earlier today.
It's going to be good to see some of my old teammates, good to play against them, good to see some of the people I work with in my time in Golden State. But nothing more than that. The game of basketball is always going to have me on that level of wanting to play extremely hard every time I'm out there.
You want to see everybody healthy. You want to see everybody able to play, especially what he's capable of doing on the court. But at the end of the day, like we all say, it is just another game. It is our first regular season game, so there's a lot of excitement just around being back in the action. It'll be cool to see him out there and all those pleasantries, and then get to just competing. I think that's what we all expect.
Well, tomorrow night at Staples Center, the defending champion Lakers will be meeting Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers, who will be led by their new head coach and former Laker Tyronn Lue. He takes over for Doc Rivers. And Lue plans to implement sets of triangle offense, hoping to use Kawhi in ways like Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan played. Kawhi becomes a free agent, or can be, after this season, but he wants to keep the focus on now.
For my situation right now, I'm just focused on this season. You know what I mean? I'm not saying I'm going anywhere else or staying here, but I'm just focused on the season And, obviously for, if I stay healthy, the best decision is to decline a player option, but that doesn't mean I'm leaving or staying. I'm focused on the season, like I said. We'll talk about that when the time is right.
Okay, let's welcome in NBA insider Brian Windhorst. He joins us now to run through a number of topics on the eve of the new season. So let's start with Kawhi saying right there his best decision, if he's healthy, is to decline that player option, enter free agency after the season. He's not saying he's leaving or staying. How surprising is that admission for you?
Well, I just like how candid he is. That is an exact, accurate analysis of what his situation is. And we don't often see players be that forthcoming about it, even though it's the reality. And look, one of the reasons you signed a 2+1 contract as a free agent like Kawhi did was to keep the team uncomfortable. And if you look at what the Clippers have done, they've made changes to this roster. And as you mentioned, they're making changes to the offense. They're going to install a different offense for him using triangle sets. Now, Kawhi was vocal at the end of last season about how he wasn't happy about the Clippers were running, how they weren't playing intelligent offensively. Well, the triangle is an intelligent offense, and here they are catering to him, hoping to keep him happy.
All right, I think it's